Hey everybody, what's up? It's Ree, or Rebel Inks Art, here again with a late character design challenge. As of recording this video is a day late, but probably by the time it finishes exporting and then gets loaded up, it's probably going to end up being a full 2 days late. And I am very sorry about that. I got it up as soon as I could, but I had both a combination of financial troubles and technical troubles. I'm going to be making a video, not necessarily about what happened, but about what you can do to help. The long and short of it is I got my power turned off, and you can't record things when your computer isn't on. But that's just kind of how it goes sometimes, you know? Oh well. So today's prompt was Fairy Grunge, and for this I decided, because I had been looking for a prompt that I could make kind of Christmassy, I decided to go with the Sugar Plum Fairy from the Nutcracker. I used to go see the Nutcracker every year with my family. There is a ballerina troupe here in my town that does the Nutcracker every year. I believe they're still doing it, I just haven't gone to see it in forever. And I just remember really being in love with all the costumes and the sets and everything. It was such a magical experience. So this story is one that I've always been fond of. That plus the Barbie Nutcracker movie, one of my all-time favorites. So I was very excited to go in with this. So I decided to go with a nice lavender and magenta kind of theme for her color palette, and then just work in different kind of candy elements into her outfit while still keeping it with that nice grunge aesthetic. I gave her some nice big old buns and some chunky bangs. My mouth isn't working. I've just been off in the word department all day. I keep forgetting words, even after I immediately said them. Which I guess is just kind of the day that I'm having. It's the week that I'm having, honestly. Speaking of which, Merry Christmas, or Happy Hanukkah, or Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you're celebrating right now. Or if you're not really celebrating any of those, happy winter. I hope that it's been whatever temperature you prefer, and that it's been nice and scenic, depending on your desires for a green or white time of year. And I hope you found some really cool Christmas lights and eat some candy canes. Candy canes are my all-time favorites, so just munch on those bad boys for me. Heading just in there with that clean sketch after getting the pose and the outfit kind of worked out. Pulled a lot of references for this, wanted to make sure that everything fit into this aesthetic style. It's kind of funny, honestly, my in-person aesthetic, what I dress as normally, fits this more so than anything, but for whatever reason, the grunge aesthetics have been the hardest for me to draw. I guess because they just feel so close to what I would wear normally, I feel like they don't qualify as an aesthetic. I feel like aesthetics are things that, I don't know, feel out there. And this is just a little too close to home for me, so it never feels like I'm pushing my character design hard enough. Giving her some nice chunky boots, throwing some beads around one and some pins on the other. Then I'm throwing a couple little patches on her denim jacket. I go with a lot of different candy themes, and then I throw a little peanut on there just to kind of pull that Nutcracker theme home. And then it's time for the line art. One of the things I wanted to push myself with this one was to give her a different nose shape. I know that noses are one thing. I tend to do the exact same way every single time, and that's going to be one of my New Year's art resolutions. And I'm going to make a video about that, actually, encouraging you guys to do a New Year's art resolution the same. And I'm going to just kind of make one about my plans and that sort of thing. But one of my big challenges that I'm giving myself is learn how to do noses differently and make myself just keep mixing it up, because I know I definitely go into the nose rut where a lot of them end up looking the same. And that's something that there's a difference between style, choices, and just being in a bad habit. And I know for me that my noses aren't a style choice, it's a bad habit, and that I would love to be giving my characters different noses, and I need to push myself to actually do that. So I'm going in there, I'm giving little detail to all the different little sugar plums in her hair. One thing that I guess was a big challenge for me for this character was trying to figure out what the heck a sugar plum is. And from what I can figure out, it's just a sugared, candied plum. But it seems like it's a really old, forgotten thing. And the only thing people know it from now is from the Nutcracker, from the character. I kind of want to try one. I don't know where you would find one, or if there's a recipe for them floating around there or something, but that's something I gotta look into. doing all those little buttons, and then going in and doing those patches. I've got there went the lisp, my bee. I've got such a thing for patches on jackets. It's funny, I actually just bought a leather jacket for myself from a thrift store that made me so happy that I managed to find it. And I got a bunch of patches that I'm going to be sewing all over it, because that is honestly like one of my all-time favorite personal aesthetic choices, is just like annihilating your jackets with patches. Just cover it in like bright colors and fun shapes. And then going in there, doing a little heart buckle on that belt. I think one of my favorite parts about this drawing was the color palette of it, because I wanted to push myself to have a very like monochrome color palette while still making everything stand out, and I think I was pretty successful in that. Here we go, setting down that base layer, and then I'm throwing on my sloppy flats. I wanted to give her cute little tights, so I made the color there a lighter shade of her skin, and then I was going to do white accents to show the transparency of it. Decided to give her really bright eyes. And then I'm just jumping right on in there to clean up those colors. I will say, if this challenge made me want to do anything, it made me want to go back and rewatch the Barbie Nutcracker movie again. That one and the Rapunzel one growing up were some of my favorite movies, and I've been meaning to like find them and rewatch all of them again. It kind of makes me want to do my own retelling of the Nutcracker. It's just got such strong childhood memories for me, you know? Going in, cleaning everything up. And then I'm going to go ahead and add color to those different patches. One of the fun little Easter eggs I gave myself is that little, the wrapped candy with the swirl on it is actually partially inspired by a character shared by me and Lindsay for a video game that we're making. That hopefully you'll see in the future. It's going to be called Rocky Road Racers. We're very excited for it. Going in there, cleaning all that jazz up for the pockets. And making sure the shirt is all filled in. Really, there's not a whole lot of commentary to give for this step. We've seen it 1,000 times. We know how it goes. I like to put things on real messy first because it makes me feel good. And then I clean it all up. Just helps me make sure that all my colors are going to match well together and not too much is going to clash. Adding the color to those beads, and then I'm going to use an old heart brush I made for a picture I did forever ago to give texture to those tights. And then I'm going to go in and do some shading. We know the drill. Adding those warm tones to the skin. And I actually end up, this isn't something I do too frequently, but I end up shading the hair. I don't know why it's something I skip so frequently. I think it's because I just tend to do so much toothless. I'm recording. Shoosh. I think it's because I do so much detail in the line art for my hair. I always feel like adding shadow to it as well ends up bogging it down. But for this one, I was just feeling doing some shadow in it. I think it was because the color was so pale. I felt like it would, ow! I thought it would help it pop. Sorry for just yelling into the mic. Somebody decided that my leg was a perfect place to jump on. That was mean. It was mean, Toothless. Do you want to say hi to the audience? The viewers, the friendos? No, now you're quiet. That's just mean. Sorry, a little guest appearance from my cat. Just adding some final shading. And then we're gonna see me go ahead and do that background. Right about now, we're gonna start seeing the final illustration come up on our fancy schmancy new end slate. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I don't think grunge is the aesthetic I would have given the Sugar Plum Fairy if I was just redesigning her for my own benefit, just on a fun little self project. But I think it works for her, and I think I had a lot of fun with it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I am very sorry that this video is so late. But I appreciate you guys' patience, and I hope you guys have a lovely holidays. And until I see you guys again, I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you draw a lot of cool art, and I hope you eat some real good food. I love you! Bye-bye!